Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited because my good friend Lisa Barnett is here with us. She's back from Mexico, so she's looking good and all relaxed.
A little tan going.
A little bit of a tan going, so all so nice, and making us all jealous who did not enjoy warm climates right now. But I'm so glad that we get a chance to talk to Lisa because it's been a while, and it's like, wow, how did that happen, right? So today we're going to be talking to Lisa about how to transmute karma and transmute your life with the Akashic Record, with your Akashic Record. And we're going to learn how you can update your Akashic Record, and I'm really interested in that, I can tell you. And if we can transmute karma, can we? That's a good question, because I was just told something about my own karma, so I was like, I'd like to get that released, or transmuted, or just rewritten. And if soul contracts are written for life, and how we can how we make them and how to know when they're complete is a great question. And plus, we'll be receiving healing, clearing, and energy transmissions from the Akashic Masters. So yay, it's going to be a fun conversation and fun call, live, high energy, high vibe. And so for those of you who don't know Lisa, Lisa is the internationally recognized best-selling author of The Infinite Wisdom of the Akashic Records and From Questioning to Knowing, 73 Prayers to Transform Your Life. She's also the founder of Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom, where she teaches students around the world to access personal soul wisdom and Akashic guidance to support their life. With more than 20 years of experience in spiritual healing, Lisa is a master of empowering individuals to find greater fulfillment, happiness, abundance, and health with ease. And Lisa can help you align with your soul plan, understand your soul contracts, and complete old karma and vows to transform your life now. So I'm so excited about this conversation because, like I just said, some stuff has just come up in my world, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can change this. I wonder if I can transmute this. And it's like, I wonder if I can rewrite my contract,
Right.
So thank you so much for being here, Lisa. It's perfect timing. Yay.
Fabulous. I love to be here with you again. It's been too long, and I keep swearing I'm going to come over to Europe and visit. And it's still in the planning stages, but hopefully someday soon.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. You're always welcome. You've slept on my couch once before. You can sleep on my couch again.
That's right.
I was remembering that today earlier, and I was like, oh, wow, that was so long ago, and it's like, oh, what a special visit that was. Like, oh my goodness. So Lisa, I'm like, I'm sure there are lots of people on the call who don't really understand, because I really want to talk about these Akashic Records. And, every single person who works with the Akashic Records does it slightly differently and has a slightly different interpretation or understanding of it. So I really want to get from you about, really understanding what the Akashic Records are, how they can help us in our lives, to, change our lives, to transform our lives, right? And so just an overview at the beginning first, and then we'll get into like the real meat of how we can use them to support our evolution, our growth, and our transformation.
Absolutely. So the Akashic Record is the recording of your soul's journey through time. And of course, the word like time, time, space, continuum, but everything your soul has ever been or done on planet Earth or other planets or other dimensions or realms, right? Because some of us live in the angelic realm or the fairy realm, the elemental realm. I've been a whale, let me say. So everything we have been as a soul is recorded in our own personal Akashic Record. And that's the thing that's fascinating to me, is because we are really so ancient that we have thousands of lives in all these different places, planes, and dimensions. So you can think, oh, I have my own personal library. And you also have your own personal librarians. So there are Akashic Record keepers, the beings of light that keep your records. And they're there to help and support you. They have never been anything else except for record keepers. When they individuated from source, they made a choice to study in the Akashic field, in the Akashic realm, and to be of service to us, here that are embodied. And so they are pure divine source energy. They have no judgments. They have no particular opinions about things, right?
Thank
because
goodness.
they're here in service.
Right.
So one of the interesting things I think that is so important to understand is not only do you have your own record and your own record keepers, but before you embodied this time, you wrote a soul plan. And that plan would be kind of your own personal life manual. And this is one of the ways that the Akashic Records can really help us when we can start to understand what we came to do, the karma we came to learn about, understand, finish, the plan we made for this life. It's so kind of helpful, right? Supportive. Yes. It really gives us a great deeper understanding.
Awesome. Yeah. And you know, sometimes, you know, we are at a crossroads, you know, and we could really use some guidance.
Right. Right. And that is part of what is, it's in our soul plan. So let me just expound a little bit about what we put in our own soul plan. So we come to bring our gifts and talents to obviously this human life, and that's often what we refer to as, you know, what would be my soul purpose. It's those gifts and talents that you have come to bring to the earth, to humanity. We write soul contracts with people to have significant partners, to have children. We write them with our parents. Not always, but usually at least with one parent. So that's another thing that's kind of interesting. Most of us assume that I have a soul contract with my mother and my father, but you may not. And that may be why you feel like you're born into the wrong family. Maybe you came to be with a aunt or a grandmother or a sibling. Or maybe it's more about the completion, the karma, the lessons you came to learn, or the area you want to live in. So we write all sorts of different soul contracts. We have 25 or 50 soul contracts with people in our lives, and that's written about in our soul plan. And of course, the lessons we want to learn. We've come to grow as a soul. So that's about completing karma, you know, learning those lessons, growing, sharing what we've learned. And so there's all sorts of kind of pieces and parts, because we're ancient, wise, complicated souls. So there's a lot of other information that comes into these records for us. So very, you know, kind of this whole plan, and it can be tremendously validating, and it can also help us to really understand why we're experiencing what we're experiencing.
So we can go in sometimes ourselves or with the help of someone and look at what our soul plan is. And we can also end these contracts, and then we can rewrite these contracts or rewrite the Akashic records.
Yeah. You know, it's fascinating because we often write soul contracts that are that have a specific purpose, which means that they're often very short-lived. So an example would be, you might have a soul contract with a specific person, soul, to have a child. And that may be a very short-lived one-night stand, or, you know, 6-month relationship or 2-year marriage. And it really wasn't about, say, the baby's daddy staying around and raising the child. It was much more about completion of something, genetics, you know, whatever that is in your soul contract that brought that in that way. So if your marriage doesn't last forever, it may not be written to last forever. It may be written for kind of a, let's say, 15-year, 20-year marriage to have children and raise them, or to learn something and complete something. You may be wanting to finish an incomplete relationship that you had with that person in a different lifetime. And so you may have, say, you both died really early, and you decided when you met that soul, you know, in the etheric realms, and you were looking for people to have a significant partnership with, someone to marry, you say, hey, you know, we had that like 2-year marriage and then we died in a, you know, boating accident. Why don't we come back and do it again and see if we can kind of at least bring that to completion, so it's not hanging out there in this incomplete sort of karmic way. So you come together, you may have a great relationship. It may be a very supportive relationship. You may help each other to grow. And then you're like, okay, you know, now we're done. We're complete. Let's move on, right?
Right. Yeah.
So not all contracts are written forever. And we can, in the Akashic Records, move them from being kind of out of time and space into present time. And that can update and upgrade our contracts when we're bringing them into present time. So another kind of example of updating, upgrading, not really rewriting, but upgrading or updating your contract. Say you have a relationship with your mother that's always challenging because she treats you like a 5-year-old and you're 50. So it could be very useful to update your contract with your mother, so you're actually bringing it into present time, because it's stuck kind of in this outside of time and space place when you were 5.
Got it. Yeah.
She still treats you like that. So when you can update it to your relationship with her as a 50-year-old, then you can change your relationship in a very kind of energetic, significant sort of way.
That's cool. And is there anything like ethically wrong about changing a contract? Like, what if you hadn't completed your lesson or learned whatever you were supposed to do or something like that?
Right. So this is the way it works when I do readings for clients, and they say, often people will come and they'll say, you know, I've been married for 28 years and is my soul contract with this person complete? And it'll be really interesting because, of course, they are kind of thinking that maybe it's time to get a divorce, but they're not sure, right? So, so you go into the Akashic Records, you ask your record keepers, is this contract complete? And they tell you, yes, it is. It was really just about raising the children. You know, it was complete like 10 years ago. And you'd be like, oh, no wonder it's felt just so old and kind of, yeah. So you really are bringing it into present time, which allows it to complete. And then you feel that like, oh, great, that's done. Let's move on. And, you know, for some people, it's not easy to say, move out. But people, I've seen them kind of make a choice. We're like, you know, we have this nice house. We get along fine. We just don't really have a marriage. We're doing our own thing anyway. Why don't we just have our own bedrooms and just decide to go our own ways, to separate, maybe even legally divorce, and live in the same house? That's fine. So you're able to energetically make a shift, which allows you to move forward in your life and do other things that you'd plan to do, but that maybe are not, you're not getting done because of this old contract that's kind of holding you back.
Yeah, and I understand that totally.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll say, no, it's not complete. The contract is to parent these children until they're 21 or until they're 18.
Right.
And the 14-year-old still kind of needs you. So the contract with the 14-year-old between yourselves, this kind of 3-way contract, is not complete. So it's really in your highest and best good to kind of work it out. Maybe you get some marriage counseling, maybe you get some family counseling so you can work it out and make it work better for you to complete the contract. Because you're right, Alara, if you kind of just bail and it's not energetically complete, you're going to end up doing it again anyway. Right. Maybe just with someone else. So
good. So you just answered my question, because, you know, I was like questioning when you were talking about this. I was questioning. It's like, so maybe I should have left my ex-husband sooner, but maybe not.
Right,
you know, so when I did, maybe it was the right time when I did. You know, it didn't have to be sooner per se. You know, maybe, you know. It naturally
Right.
came to completion. So I didn't, because now the relationship I'm in is totally different. So I'm definitely not doing the same thing again. Yay.
Right, exactly. So especially when they're, so we have, even soul contracts can be complicated because some of them have what we would say karma attached. So you can have a contract, I say, I've made this contract to learn something, to grow, to complete an old story that I didn't finish. So this has karma, and that's about the lesson. Many soul contracts are literally about supporting each other. So I've been very blessed. We just had our 28th anniversary. We have 3 kids, and we're still happily married. So, our contract is very much about support, not so much about, karma.
Right.
Not that there was none involved, but, so we write these kind of different types of contracts.
Yeah.
And, if, you can have a contract, say you have a contract and you with a spouse, and you're working very hard, you're on your spiritual path, or you're, really doing a lot of work around yourself and self-help and trying to really raise your consciousness and raise conscious children. And, your spouse has a drinking problem, or, he's an alcoholic, or he's a workaholic, or he's never there. And what the record keepers say is that if you do really everything you can, you hold up your side of the bargain, and they don't, your spouse doesn't, say, you can bring that contract to completion, and his learning, he's going to be the one who's going to have to go on and learn how to be in an intimate relationship, how to relate in a family, how to really, create a community, a family.
Right.
Where you're not, ignoring them or leaving them. So it's going to be them that's going to have to finish the contract. You've done your part. You've held up your side of the contract, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I didn't mention at the beginning, if you have a question, you can write it in the chat, or you can raise your hand, and we'll see what we can do. I didn't even open up the chat yet. Whoops. Hold on. It's like
no one in.
It's like being weird. So I know that somebody had raised their hand earlier, and 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right. And so we're going to take some questions from people, right? From callers. And
yeah, so let me just say one thing though. Because when I do Akashic Record readings, I have to open your specific records. So on telesummits like this, what I love to do is, if you can ask a question, not specific, like, is my contract with my husband complete? Because I'm not in your records. I kind of don't like to devalue the energy of the Akashic field, because it's the highest vibration on the planet. It's part of source energy. And so we can do some clearing around stuck contracts. I love to do group work and group clearings, because I'm not in any one specific Akashic records. And that's why I do personal, private Akashic record. And I do deep healing through the record. So it's important to know that the energy, the source vibration is so powerful that we can clear and heal a lot of things, and we can do it as a group. So love to do that. So general questions, either, about a situation or about the Akashic records or what you can do with it. Just kind of, so
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And so, we always talk about our past lives, right? And, past lives here on this planet, and past lives, or, other lives in other dimensions and realms and realities, right? Because you mentioned that at the beginning. So how do they affect our records? How do they affect our present life with our records?
So everything, we've been and done through, time immemorial, that is part of who we are as a soul. And so every time we come to Earth, as we were talking about a soul plan, we're going to kind of pick and choose some of those gifts and talents we've had in numerous lives and bring say, I want to bring that to the world now. You know, so in all sorts of different ways. So I mentioned I had been a whale. So it's a good example. Because I'm very Syrian, from the dog star Sirius, which is actually planet A and planet B. The Syrian, the whales and dolphins come from A, and the Egyptians, what we consider the Egyptian gods, came from planet B. And there's different energy and different talents. But what my record keepers told me is that something like 40,000 years ago, I came to the earth as a whale, kind of like on vacation, kind of, you know, these amazing oceans. And I made a contract, a soul contract with Mother Earth, with Gaia, to support her.
Right.
Apparently there's a dog outside barking. So,
mine's in the other room. He's being quiet.
Z. Busy. Yeah. She's an old buddy from other planets and dimensions too. So bring her over. So, you know, so one of the reasons I keep coming back to Earth is I made this soul contract with Gaia to help and support her. Right? So these things affect us in these interesting sorts of ways. You can be like, oh, okay, no wonder I keep coming back. So all of that is really kind of part and parcel of our records, and that's why it can be so fascinating. But when we do make that soul plan, especially when it comes to gifts and talents, I like to see our gifts and talents almost like a pearl necklace, right? We have all of these lifetimes where we've been, you know, whatever it is, say a healer, where I've been a healer and a healer and a healer, you know, and really been, you know, really on point, on task as being a healer. And so I want to say, I want to bring that necklace, that soul lineage, that wisdom, those talents to Earth now. And so we bring that information. So our past lives, you know, really are why we write the plan we write. Right. You know, so it doesn't matter so much as a, you know, was I some famous king or queen or whatever it is. It's really about what, you know, what do I know? What gifts and talents? What have I been? What can I share? All of that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. How can I use those gifts and talents from before now, you know, to be of service or, you know, just to help with the evolution of my soul, of my life here, right?
Absolutely.
So should we take a question from Maria? She's got her hand raised for a while.
Sure.
Okay, Maria, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. 1 second. Hello? Maria, you're unmuted.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm on.
Yeah. You had a question?
Hi, Lisa. Hi. Hi, Leah. Okay. A general question for the group, including me. So, in reference to part of what you were speaking of, I have, I'm 52 and I have a, I go in and out of shining my light and sharing my gifts, and I'm not out there as much as I wish to be, and I feel like something's stopping me. And as far as, in general, what stops people from shining their lights, I'm sensing it's just from some group, some kind of a group.
Thank you, Maria. Great question.
Yeah. You know, always it's a fabulous question, because I would say that, you know, everyone on the call, all being light workers, all having come to the planet at this time to share some form of, you know, some gifts and talents, right? And all of us really the healing, the wisdom, you know, the light, the helping humanity in some way or another is really one of the highest purposes I see with the light workers. So of course for us, one of the biggest challenges is all the different lifetimes that we've been died or imprisoned or run out of town, hurt or harmed in some way, for speaking our truth, for shining our light, for being different, right? So it's one of the biggest things that really keeps us hidden, keeps us afraid, on top of group contracts that we have with other light workers from other lifetimes to stay small. You know, because one of the things that happened was, so if you imagine back in a druid life, you were a group and you were hiding because it was not safe to be a druid in the 800s, 900s, 1000. And so you had a group contract to stay hidden, and you literally physically hid, and you talk about what you did. You didn't talk about what, what you believed, right? And so that contract can be stuck again, kind of because they're vows and they're group contracts. And so let's do some clearing around all of that, because that one holds us back, and then we'll do some clearing around all the times that we've died or been killed or whatever, in prison, run out of town, all of the above.
Wonderful. Awesome. Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so the way I work in the records is I basically just ask the record keepers to help and take us as this group outside of time and space back to all of these different lives. So just kind of they connect to you. All you have to do is, say, yes, I'd like some healing. If you don't want healing, just say, no, thanks. I don't really want any healing. Some people don't like other energies or beings or entities mucking about in their space, right? And I get that too. So, so just say yes if you want them to do some healing for you. And so we're just going to go all the way back. Now it goes, well, we're focusing a little bit more on this specifically. So we're going back to about 3000 BC. Which is interesting because it's a little further back than they often will go. So we've got a lot of very old souls here who have hidden out for different reasons or been apparently killed for, kind of new thoughts, new ideas. So I just kind of go through the whole timeline, just clearing and releasing the pain, the physical pain, of course, of death or torture or even being, locked up, being imprisoned for a long time. So we're clearing all the physical pain, the energetic pain, which is all the trauma, of course, and a lot of energetic pain around being killed also. But again, being run out of town, seeing someone you love be killed, any and all of that sort of energy. We just go through kind of between 3000 AD and now. We just clear that whole timeline of all of those, all that pain and trauma, because it's really the pain that locks us down. It's the pain that makes it too scary to be seen, because there's that unconscious part that says, if people see me, they're going to hurt me, they're going to kill me, they're going to, mistreat me. So, so we're just clearing all of that. Physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. Another piece that shows up, which is something like, God, why have you forsaken me? How could you let me get killed or burned at the stake or imprisoned or, stoned to death or run out of town? All sorts of great ways to die. And so, okay, so we just want to clear all of that emotional, physical pain in our bodies and our energy fields, and then we'll fill ourselves up with the highest Akashic information, wisdom, and vibration that we can all hold now as we release. I mean, that's old stuff that's just been stuck out there for a very long time. And then we I'll go and ask to clear all the group contracts we have, all the times that we've been part of a spiritual group or any type of group where we vowed to stay small, to stay hidden, to not step into our power, to not be more powerful than anyone else in the group. That often keeps us down energetically, right? Because we're like, nope, I vowed I would stay even, right, with everybody. I won't be any better, any bigger, or seen anymore than anybody else in the group. And it's time to stop that. We need to step out there and shine our light so that we can be really of service to humanity, because there's billions of people on the planet who need our help, right? And you need to be visible energetically, physically, you know,
Yep.
to so that people can find you. So all that said, let's just clear all those group contracts throughout the kind of time-space continuum. We'll do this again, just 3000 to now, 3000 BC to now. So the record keepers, sometimes they build a big bonfire and they literally like burn all these contracts. So it's kind of cool to see like this big bonfire with everybody's old, out of time, out of space contracts in there. So we're just clearing those. All right, and breathe. I know, Alara, you do a lot of yawning, or you used to do a lot of yawning when things clear. So
Yep.
if you
Still
feel,
do.
you just breathe deeply down into your belly. You know, I blow out and make popping noises. You'll see my hands going. I just kind of energetically move them through time and space. So just letting it go. Just fold all of that cleared energy. Bring it back here, right into the present time. And we ask the record keepers to upgrade, update all of our soul contracts. Good, just bringing in new updated contracts, so that feels better. Just fill ourselves up with the highest Akashic golden light and energy, really filling in all the spaces and places we've cleared. Good. Okay. So just coming back into our bodies, put your feet on the ground, run some nice roots down into the ground. Everybody kind of popped out. So let's get grounded and back in our bodies. Now we've got a lighter, higher vibrational body after just clearing those group contracts and all that pain and trauma of you know, being killed throughout so many years and lifetimes, right?
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Maria, for that great question. And, you know, it is so relevant, especially I'm finding this year is the year for everyone to step up now. You know, it's like, it's kind of like we're being called, you know? And so you got to do whatever you got to do to get out there and shine your light, be who you are, be authentic, be in integrity, but be you.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is the year, you know, 2018 to 2018, you know, it's kind of this 3-year bridge that we're on. So 2018, we did so much clearing, and for a lot of people, it was kind of painful and traumatic and challenging. And then this year, I really see us kind of over the hump. I see a ton of light coming in. We've just even had these amazing 2 eclipses and huge portals opening with the blood moon on Sunday, you know, just really fabulous energy coming in, which doesn't always feel easy for so many of us, but it really is getting higher, better.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see so much more instant manifestation. So bringing that ability to manifest more instantaneously has a lot to do with being grounded and in our bodies, really being able to embody here and now. So grounding is important.
Yes. And you know, if you want to manifest anything, it's here on this planet. So you have to be here, you know?
Right.
So, you know, it's one of it's, believe it or not, it's, if you're not here on the planet, if you're not grounded, if you're not connected, you won't be able to manifest it. It's not, if you can't just stay out here, you know, you can't just be out here, you know, you have to be in your body here on this planet in order to really manifest now.
Yeah, totally. It's very, very important. So, yeah. So,
awesome. Thank you for that, Maria. Yay. All right. So, Joy, did you have a question? I see you're unmuted.
Actually, yes. Hello. I was thinking maybe we can have a group clearing of what keeps us in the mind, because I find to be in the body is challenging. My mind is so active, and I do my best, but I forget, and I find the mind is so entertaining and so needing more and more information, entertainment, and all that. And I think it is with everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Nowadays, it's very tempting to be in the mind. So if we can clear how we can.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's
a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So, you know, what the record keepers are suggesting is to actually do, there's a couple of things that are coming up. So we'll do a little work on the brain itself. We'll balance the left and the right hemispheres, because that's a lot of that, you know, getting kind of stuck in that linear logical stuff. We'll balance that more with a lot of the more creativity. And then what I'm hearing is let's do, we'll do kind of a little bit of a quicker version of a meditation or visualization, guided visualization that they've given me, which I call connecting the three brains. So it's really connecting not only the mental, but, you know, our whole sixth chakra. It's really how we see the world. But also we've got our pineal, which is really our connection very much up to the divine. We have our you know, third eye, our clairvoyance, our claircognizance. All of that is also in our head. And then we connect it with our heart brain, which is very much about our claircognizance, our deep knowing. And to our gut, we connect that with our gut brain. So our also clairsentience. So what we're really doing is doing a nice connection of all of our intuitive knowing, and it helps to drop us down, further down into our fourth chakra and third chakra. And it's really from our third chakra that we're manifesting out in the world. So we need to get at least down there. And then the other thing is that usually our first and second chakras are very mucky, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of pain and trauma down there. Our emotions, our first chakra is about survival. So survival has not ever been really a big fun thing. So let's do that. That feels good. So just what they're showing us is kind of a vortex, kind of cyclone-y energy in the brain. It's really clearing, and first we're really moving everyone else out of our heads, because not only is it you that triggers that, it's other people, right? So we're just going to clear everybody out of our space in general. So we just want to hook everybody up who's anywhere in your body. We'll hook them up. We'll send them all their energy back to them, because everybody needs their own energy. We'll hook them up to source for a healing, so they can get a little healing and get their energy back. So just kind of moving them all out of your body space, so we start to even know, feel, that realize, you know, what am I thinking? What's mine and what's not mine, right? So another really big piece of how we stop some of that chatter, because some of that chatter is actually other people telepathically talking to you. So we're just getting all of that out of our space, and now we're gonna, they're really doing some clearing kind of in the left and the right hemisphere, and then we'll balance those. We're gonna run some new connections between the left and the right hemisphere. So just if you want to close your eyes and just kind of notice what you notice, you might kind of feel that kind of cool swirly energy of the clearing in our heads. You might feel some buzziness, you know, between the synapses firing and kind of creating some rewiring in there. And then we ask the Akashic Masters to kind of to bring, I see it like a little bolt of lightning to the pineal to kind of open and clear our pineal so we can wake that up again, because they get very calcified. So it's always good to do some decalcifying of our pineal. Our fluoride does that to us. So get away from fluoride water and fluoride toothpaste, and there's all sorts of information, you know, online about clearing your pineal and your energetically, and even there's some supplements that are helpful, like boron, which is a mineral, and different things that help with that. So we're just doing the Akashic version of a little energy of lightning bolt, little shock there to get that activated. So now from the center of your head, really from that place, that pineal, that pituitary, just take a breath and just imagine you're dropping some of your energy, your focus, your attention down into your fourth chakra, down into your heart. And then we're going to create a gold liquid light infinity symbol from your heart chakra up to your head. So just imagine a vertical figure 8 connecting your fourth chakra to your sixth chakra. So just gold liquid light flowing back and forth in a figure 8 infinity symbol. Now we're going to breathe deeply into our hearts, and we're going to feel that energy, the love, the light, the warmth, the compassion, the unconditional love that lives in our heart center, our fourth chakra. We're going to invite our hearts to open and expand just a little wider, so it starts to kind of fill your rib cage, your torso. And still that golden infinity symbol continues to run, connecting our sixth chakra, our mental level, our head brain to our heart brain. Now again, just take a nice breath, and we're going to drop down into our kind of high stomach, really our third chakra, solar plexus. This is so much of our creative energy. It's also about our power center, our manifestation, our creating out in the world. So feeling that energy, feeling that creativity, that ability to create in this world, to manifest our heart's desire. So with that thought, we're going to connect our heart, our fourth chakra, to our third chakra, again with an infinity symbol, golden figure 8, from your heart to your third chakra. So connecting fourth down to the third, aligning and connecting. So just feel that connection, our creativity, our sensitivity, our clairsentience, connecting to our heart, our claircognizance, our clear knowing, connecting to our head, to our telepathics, to our connection to source, all of this energy aligned from our sixth to our fourth to our third. Creating a beautiful column of light, and it continues on up. Up, up. Right now, we're just stretching that up to our higher self, which is our 12th chakra above our head, and on into the Akashic Records as we open to receive healing and guidance from our Akashic beings of light here today. Okay, good. So just take a breath and come back. Open your eyes as you're feeling ready to do that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that, Joy. That's a good one for all of us. So yay. Oh my goodness. I'm like still, not quite back. Wonderful. So what about, now of course I can't think. I feel like now my mind just wants to just relax, right? It's like, oh, I wanted to talk about like karma too, right? So we talked a little bit about karma earlier, right? But I wanted to talk about karma in for like abundance, prosperity, and sometimes, whether we've done something in the past that's maybe blocking the abundance this time around, like if we misused our power, misused, some, I don't know, done something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people wonder about that too. It's like, and especially the light workers who are trying to show up and are not able to. And then, it's like, well, why isn't this happening? And, and I think the abundance piece is also connected to that too, right?
Right. So abundance is very complicated. Because yes, it can have to do with karma and learning in that way, because karma is really very much about kind of our soul growth and our learning. But it has to do with past life vows of poverty, past life vows in which we were very wealthy and we were not very nice people, right? So we might have been very abusive. We might have been a wealthy landowner. Maybe we had slaves of some kind, or back in the medieval days, we had like serfs, right? Basically, we taxed the people who lived on our land so heavily that they could never get out from under us, right? And often we kind of realize, and sometimes their deathbed vows, we realize on our deathbed that, wow, we really kind of screwed that one up. We were not very nice. And so we're like, oh, I never want to be rich again because rich makes me a bad person, right? We blame the money on not being very nice. So we make these vows that are like, I don't ever want to be rich again. I don't want to have money. It's bad for me. But the vows of poverty also, back for thousands of years, the monks and the nuns and the priests and all the people who did the prayer work, the healing work, they were taken care of by the town, by the village, right?
Yeah.
We were given food. We lived in a monastery. So you could take a vow of poverty because you didn't need to make a living. You were taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely time to get rid of all those vows of poverty because nobody's taking care of me. I don't know about you, but for me, right?
Yeah.
I could not do my work if I didn't get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's an important thing for us to. I set my glass on the floor. My dog is like 11, right? And she's half blind. So she's like, what was that? What was that?
Well, we have a puppy now and he's 7 months old, so we just got him like 2 months ago, and he's so cute. We just love him. He's such a good boy.
They're adorable and
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so let's do some. So do you want to specifically work on karmic patterns that keep us from abundance, or you just want to work on a bunch of different levels of things that block us from abundance?
Sure, a bunch of different things.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Right. So let's, like, I always just like to clear the vows of poverty because I feel like they're just so old and so, stuck and so not useful in so many ways. Because of course, vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, we want to get rid of them all. I don't think any of them serve anyone.
No.
Especially that obedience one, right? Or chastity.
Not at all.
Come to think of it, none of them. Okay. So we'll just go. back and out of throughout time, space, continuum to any place that anyone listening who wants some clearing has taken a vow of poverty, chastity, or an obedience, any time or place. That goes so far back. Wow. I don't really think about it that often, but that goes like 8,000 BC.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some old Egyptian temples and things like that, and probably other temples in other parts, but the Egyptian one shows up really strongly where we were priests or priestesses still taking those kind of vows of the obedience, interesting, is one that shows up really strongly there. Anyway, we'll close them all the way back to 8,000 BC. Why not? You know, the record keepers say they're done in the etheric planes. Karma is complete, but we need to, you know, somehow come to that place where we know that, we embody that, we believe that so deeply in every, you know, cell in our body that it's the truth. And so this is one of the great ways. That's why it's kind of easy now to clear a lot of this old karma, because it's it really is complete in the higher levels. So just, that's really 10,000 years of old vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. We just and then what we want to bring in, they're saying, is energy of deservingness. So we want to bring in the vibration that says, I deserve to be able to step out into the world and make a good living with my gifts and talents.
Yeah.
Great gifts and talents, and I deserve to be seen. Now we've cleared that. To be seen, to be found, to make a good living at, you know, whatever that is for you, right? Your gifts and talents. So, you know, filling us up with that, which was lovely. Good. And then we want to clear the old karmic pattern that in any lifetime, say, in which you were out of integrity in some way, which is that maybe you stole money or goods from someone and sold them as your own, or you know, kind of that sort of thing. You were stealing ideas or things or goods and selling them, taking all the money from someone's business. So those patterns will show up, not that often, but honestly often enough, especially when I do business consultations with people, and they're like wondering, why did my business partner, you know, take all of our information and run off and sell it as their own, or you know, take the money out of the account, and you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I see this happening in the spiritual world too, right? And it's because we've done that in the past, so it's stuck in a karmic pattern. And what I'm knowing is that everybody has learned and has understood that now. And if that is true for you, and we can just say, yes, I know, I believe that this is something I've done and I've experienced, however that is in your life, and I release that. I forgive myself. I forgive my whoever, business partner, friend, consciously or unconsciously, who has taken something from me. It might be an idea. It might, you know, be a relationship. It might be money. It might be physical, or, you know. But part of the thing with forgiveness is it is one of the easiest and most powerful way to clear karma, right? So when we come to that place where we're like, yep, I get it, and I forgive myself for doing that, and I forgive whoever's done that to me, I mean, really forgive, that really instantaneously clears karma. So in this beautiful group energy, we're able to help to do this as a group, right? Because we're we're coming together. And just so take a few minutes as you drop into your heart and to deeply feel the love and the compassion for anyone who may have hurt you financially, monetarily. Forgive yourself for anyone, known or unknown, that you may have hurt in that way also, in this life or any other life. And we ask the Akashic Record Keepers, the beings of light, to help us to uplift and bring this old karmic pattern to completion now. And any soul contracts or vows that are attached to that, we'll release that now. Nice. So that feels like there's a bunch of space just kind of opening around everybody. Feels a kind of a calm, a peace. Do you feel that coming in?
Yep. Oh, goodness.
Good. And then we ask the record keepers to fill us up with the highest vibration, Akashic wisdom and energy and information that we can now hold, now that we've cleared a bunch of that old karma, karmic patterns out of there. I guess I had some too.
Good.
Nice. Yay.
So, so if somebody has been like crying throughout this conversation, throughout this call, what does that normally mean? Do you think?
Yeah, I just find it's really the emotions that often we've kept stuffed or hidden are just coming up to be seen, felt, so they can be released, right? So often even the yawning, the crying, the, you know, however that shows up in your body, sometimes people feel sad or weepy or even, you know, not depressed is not it as much, but it could show up that way, but it's a little bit more sad, I would say, where it's moving through our field.
Yeah.
So it moves out of the body, out into the auric field, out the energy field. As it's moving out, we're kind of seeing it. We're like, oh, that's so sad, you know, and then we were feeling it. And I would say that for most of us, it takes, you know, a day, 3 usually max. And I suggest, you know, really a nice Epsom salt bath if you're, you know, kind of to help clear it out of the energy field. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Thank you. So we do have some more questions in the chat, so we'll get to them in a minute. But do you want to talk about your special offer that we have today?
Yeah, I would love to.
So for those of you who are on the live page, you can just click on special offer. And those of you who are not, you can go to alara.at/show/Lisa. And where is it? Here on my end. I will try and find it. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Okay, here we go. So I might share my screen. Okay, that might help. Would that be helpful, Lisa?
Well, I have it. I wonder if it's easier for me to share my screen because as I kind of scroll through, do you think?
Sure.
So let me see if I can let me do that. Here we are.
Have I given you permission to? We'll find out. Yes.
Okay, is it showing?
Yep.
Okay. So what I am really pleased to get to offer is my Akashic Record course, where I teach you to access, access your own Akashic wisdom, right? Your own guidance. Because when we start to do this, you get to receive and understand your soul plan, including all these difficult relationships, right? We get to work with real soul guidance to make important decisions. And you learn how to heal our childhood traumas, our hidden blocks, this emotional pain. So it is so helpful for us to have this every day. So just like I'm doing this for you, I teach you to do this for yourself. So if you would like clear answers and high vibrational energy to support you, well, then keep reading along with me. Right? So I am doing this as a live online workshop. It starts next Wednesday, January 30th. And I have made it at a time that I think really works all around the world. So I'm doing it at noon here in California, Pacific time, so 3 o'clock Eastern time, and that makes it 9 o'clock for you, Alara, in Europe, right?
Yep, that's right.
So, and it's the morning in Australia, so I know that noon is not always that helpful for people in California, but I really want to make this available to everyone around the world. So when you learn to access your own Akashic records, you will open your heart to receive support. You will get to understand these relationships in your life and the gifts they hold, right? And how to heal them. So we talk about and we learn to clear our personal energy field so we can create healthy boundaries. You receive tools to understand and release karma, some of what we were just doing today. We get to work with our soul contracts, get clarity around creative next steps for you in your life. When you learn to work in the Akashic records, you are raising your energy vibration, which is fabulous in general, and it also helps you to increase your healing abilities and strengthen your intuition, your kind of everyday intuition. You can help clear more money blocks and really learn how your past lives are affecting this life. So in this program, you will receive 6 2-hour live calls once a week with me. And each session will be filled with access prayers, tools to access your Akashic records. We do processes to support you in deepening and expanding into your Akashic records. You'll learn how to ask questions to promote access into specific areas of this infinite field that will really help you. And we learn, the healing tool to clear karma, release contracts and vows, and so much more. So you will learn my 5-step wisdom prayer system to clearly access your Akashic records. I teach you an access prayer, which is a vibrational key to open your records. So it's a very clear entry. You will learn 7 Akashic healing prayers to clear and release energy. You'll have 12 hours of guidance with Akashic energy to support you in accessing your records. So that's 6 2-hour calls. You're able to download your easy to follow manual to help you learn and stay on track and practice during the week. Tools to align with the new higher Akashic vibration, guided meditations for healing and grounding, all this tools to clear your personal energy field so you can set healthy boundaries and not take on the pain and the energy from other people. And we'll process in class. We do processes, exercises in class, as well as you'll get an MP3 of every call. You'll have time on the live calls to ask me questions, about what you're experiencing, what you're feeling. Are you in and out or out of the records? This is what happened when I did it this week. What about that? Right? So you can ask me live on the calls, or you can always go ahead and type it in if you're going to miss a call into the Q&A, because we do it on instant teleseminar. So there's a whole slideshow along with me talking, along with exercises, along with the ability to replay every time. And you also get one of the first bonuses is you get to save 25% on a 55-minute reading and healing session with me. So if you want to do more personal work, you can do that at a good discounted rate of 25%. And this bonus I love because a lot of people doubt if they can do this work. So I recently recorded this 45-minute healing call that I did, where I used the guidance from the Akashic Record Keepers and Masters to clear blocks to your sixth sense, your clairvoyance gifts, open the channels to your clairvoyance. We work on decalcification in the pineal to open your clairvoyance and reconnect your clairsentience with your claircognizance, so that you can move into this deeper state of connectedness. So just a 45-minute call. We did a short meditation, but it's a lot of healing energy with the records. And you can download for free as a bonus my Rainbow Shield guided meditation, again, to help you be guided, guarded, and protected as you walk through your life. And we have a live Facebook group, private Facebook group, just for the members of the class. And so it's starting on Wednesday. Like I said, here you can, if you can see the times, it'll be every Wednesday for 6 weeks. And my payment is wrong. This is what I'm charging is $400, but for you, it's only $300.
Yay!
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you get $100, another 25% savings, $100 savings on this live workshop. And this is really the first time I've ever done, kind of offered this in this way on a telesummit to say, come join me live. Otherwise, in the past, there's been kind of pre-recorded Akashic workshops, but this way you can show up, you can ask me questions. We do group healing like we've been doing today. It's really, really fun to do this and to learn how to do this in a live sort of way. So starting next Wednesday, you don't have to wait if you sign up today, right? You get to download, I would say, download that 45-minute healing MP3 and start listening to that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay.
There we go. We're back.
Yay.
Oh, where am I? Okay, cool. So if anybody has any questions about that program, write in the chat or raise your hand or, ask away. So awesome. And so this is a great way to empower yourself to go into your own records and get information.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. This is it. This really is the first step. I actually, what the record keepers keep telling us is it's time. And this will make a big difference for humanity, because the more people who can really literally raise your vibration to move into source energy, to understand these big soul plans, to understand the gifts and talents you wanted to bring, to understand why you may be having repeating patterns or challenging relationships. So this so allows us to move out of victimhood, right, into a place of deep understanding and love and compassion. So this is also a path really to awakening in that kind of way. This helps us to align to who we are and what we came to do, so we can move forward and be the teachers, the healers, the light workers that we've come to be with this sort of really specific guidance. I mean, I go into my records and say, is it in my highest and best interest to be on this telesummit, to write this book? I've channeled 2 books through the Akashic Records with this same process that I teach you.
That's awesome.
So it's big. It's a huge step into really empowering yourself, your life with this phenomenal tool.
Yeah. So Amy had a question about removing negative cords for her life purpose, abundance, and move forward with grace and ease. So we kind of worked on the abundance part already, and life purpose, we kind of, I don't know, did we work on life purpose?
We talk about it. Life purpose is complicated. So let's talk about it a little bit. Because I talked about the pearl necklaces,
Yeah.
right? So what we do is, I would say that most of us as souls have probably at least a dozen pearl necklaces in our jewelry, etheric jewelry drawer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that means that you have maybe a half a dozen or a dozen soul lineage purposes. And we don't bring them all into one life, but we often bring a couple of them into a life. So kind of as an example, for myself, one of my purposes is, so the big purpose I would say is to be a communicator,
Mm-hmm.
but the more finite purpose is to communicate information about the Akashic Records. So I have a gift and a talent about writing. And so, kind of that piece. So I have a pearl necklace as an author, a pearl necklace as a mother, right? That can be part of our gift and talent. As a communicator or as a sage, as a teacher. So often they're kind of a little bit more archetypical than, because we come here, we want to have free will. So
Right.
It's never a job description like you came here to work at Hewlett Packard, right? It's like you came here to help people see the truth of who they are. And you can do this through writing, through teaching, through maybe a specific process that you download. Right. So yeah, it's very interesting. And I love teaching this work because I think that that's one of the greatest ways. Of course, I can help you with your soul, path, purpose, wisdom in a reading. But when we can learn to do it for ourselves, we can ask every day, is this in my highest and best interest to do this project, to work at this place, to teach at this, event center or school, whatever it is for us, right?
Yeah.
Because it changes over time. Otherwise, we'd just be bored souls in a body, right?
So, for myself, one of my soul purposes is also being a communicator. That's why I love doing these telesummits and these interviews, right?
Right.
So I'm communicating, I'm sharing wisdom, and then I'm also a healer. So another one of my purposes is to be a healer. And I know that because I love doing it,
Right.
It's so joyful for me, right? So that's also how you know what your purpose is by, do you like it? Is it fun? Does it bring you joy? Would you do it regardless of, anything, right? And so it always comes back to, I really like this. This is, I feel really strongly about it. I have fun doing it. It brings me joy, satisfaction, fulfillment. I'm sure there's others, but those two for sure, for me.
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Absolutely. It is, so a lot of what our purpose is has to do. And often the other thing I like to say is that often it's the thing that we almost ignore because it comes easily. So we sometimes ignore it because it comes easily. And the other thing that I find, and this was true for me, so many of us have this kind of situation where we forget about, or we just haven't thought about. Maybe we got stuck in the corporate world like I did for 15 years working in advertising. You did too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I did. I was in the government.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes we'll get sick or something will happen that will kind of stop us in our tracks, and we need to regroup and say, okay, what did I actually come to do?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't do your soul purpose in the government or in advertising or in the corporate world, because we're always shining our light.
Mm-hmm.
But the more we can do it consciously, I think the more expansive and effective it is.
Yeah.
So all great questions. And, I'm seeing in the chat, oh yeah, that's a nice one. Does it expand or contract my heart when I think about something I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But in your Akashic Records, there's, they show you all these different lifetimes in which you were on task. And there's nothing to me that is almost more empowering to know that I've been that a dozen times before, that I've looked at some of those lives when I was in the ancient Persian goddess temples, or when I was a shaman in South America, or when I was, well, of course, a healer in not the great times of the 1400s, you know, but so when I can look at those, I can go, oh yes, I can reclaim that. So that part is about what I call the Akashic Record soul retrieval that I teach people to do in the second workshop. So this is a 6-week workshop. We really learn to access our records and start to get tons and tons of information. And, you know, and then we can go on and go further into the work because it's important for many of us to do that, right? To be able to heal ourselves. So, yeah, so, but what I did see was, can we clear some cords? So we can clear cords around, you know, what no longer serves us. People, we have old cords from old relationships that broke off and they're still there. They kind of block our chakras. They can create kind of rips in our auric field and different things like that. So we can do that. We can, because that was part of the first, can we remove any negative cords from Amy for real life purpose, because cords not quite as connected, but let's get rid of just all these old kind of broken cords that are in our field to allow us more space in our own energy field.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so we can move forward with greater ease and grace. So I'm going to do a bunch of clearing of cords. Often they're in the back, right? They're, because that's our unconscious level, all of the backs of our chakras, unconscious layer of our chakras. So there's a lot of what I'm seeing, kind of broken off cords and hooks, different sorts of hooks and things. So we're just clearing and just letting them release and drop out. That's why I don't like to cut them off, because I find that then we have a stump. So, the record keepers help us to kind of coax them out and to release so they just can naturally drop away. And I'll teach you also a really great simple technique that helps us to create new connections to people in our life in present time, so that any old cords also that we have can drop away, because that's really useful. Okay, so it almost, the way I'm seeing it, it's almost like you might feel it like kind of there's an inner push out. It's almost like pushing all these old stumps and cords out so that they drop away. You might even feel kind of your energy field expanding, all of this expanding to drop away. All this old stuff, right? We want to declutter our energy field, our energy bodies, so we can be the highest and best we can really be, right? So just bringing all that back into present time, filling us, filling our energy, our chakras, our auric fields, all wherever those cords were stuck, front, back, side. Sometimes they go into an organ, sometimes they're in a chakra. They can be all over the place. So we want to fill any holes or gaps or wounds that were caused by the old cords. And again, let's release any old contracts that might have been with those people that are complete. So let's just burn those old contracts that are outside of time and space and that are done. Or we ask the record keepers to bring them into present time if they're still valid and valuable. But we want to bring everything into present time that way, so we can create heart-to-heart connections to people in our lives. So that feels kind of like good. So I'd love to teach this other kind of easy tool. Good. Oh, good. I was just reading Christy. She says, so cool. Felt pressure going from the front of the abdomen to the back of the spine. So now a flatter tummy and more space to store chi. Yay. Nice. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. Flatter tummy. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah, yeah. So this is a very simple tool, and I love to share this because, you know, we have people in our lives, and it could be with your significant partner or spouse. It could be with your children or your parents. It could be with people that you work with. You might have a team, you know, or whoever, whether it's work, you know, an assistant or a virtual assistant or, you know, whatever it is you do, your friends. So we want to bring all of our soul contracts and our connections into present time. So this is a great way to do it. So if you just imagine, I like to just imagine there's a chair sitting right across from me. And I would say, I'm going to put my husband in that chair. And so I'm going to connect to him heart to heart, fourth chakra to fourth chakra, again with the golden liquid light infinity symbol. So golden liquid light is present time. Gold is the highest vibration that we can hold, be. And so just imagine from your heart to that person in front of you, you're going to send an infinity symbol horizontally. You can see that energy flowing right to their heart. Just love, pure unconditional light and love. And that is really bringing your relationship back into this moment, into present time. And what I find is when we do that with people around us, the old cords, if there's any left, they just drop away naturally because we've created a conscious present time cord connection to that person. And you could do that every day with your family members. You could set up 2 or 5 or 10 chairs, and imagine chairs in front of you. So I have a husband and 3 kids. So I would do my husband, my son, my daughter. I have twin daughters, right? And just do that with them every day, kind of heart to heart, husband, heart to heart, son, heart to heart, daughter 1, heart to heart, daughter 2. And then you just kind of, you know, enjoy and sit in that energy, kind of in a little bit of a meditative state and space of just sending them unconditional love. And they'll feel it.
I love that. Christy says, empty chair for the determined, to be determined too.
Oh yeah, so if you want, you can use that like in the concept of, I don't have a relationship, but I'd like one. So you create a mock-up. You would imagine that perfect person. And it's a good way to call them in also. So, you know, get in your head, spend some serious time. What do you want? Is it so important that they're also spiritual, that they do some of the same kind of meditations or work that you do? Or maybe that's not as important. Does it matter where they live or how much money they make? I mean, look at you, Alara, you moved to Europe, right? You know? So for some of us, it's possible. For some of us, we know it's not one of the things that we want to do. So all of that, right? Creating that kind of really soul searching, who do we want as a significant partner in our life? And then imagine them in that chair across from you, and then just that gold infinity symbol, heart to heart.
Awesome. So Caroline, you can do that with your husband, you know, with your current husband, you know, you can do that. Try that and see how that affects your relationship or changes it, or, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yay. I like that. So easy. And I could do that for, like, you know, let's say I wanted to, you know, I needed a support person. I don't have one yet. So I can imagine that support person in that chair and do that as well.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. You know, so if you, want a new assistant, a new VA, a new somebody, you know, whether they're in physical, but just knowing exactly what it is you're looking for, what you're calling in that way, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. I love it. Thank you. Great little tool that you can use every day. Really easy. So why not, right?
Yep.
Try it.
Yep.
Joy, you can use that tool too. Just telling Joy to use that tool too.
I had a client once, or a student, and she had a big team. She was in a corporate work, and every morning before she'd walk into the office building, she would imagine her team of 5 in front of her, and she would do that with all of them. And she really felt that it made a beautiful shift of energy, of understanding, of caring and compassion between her and the team, and among themselves too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very cool.
You can even do it with yourself. You can imagine yourself sitting in front of you too.
Self-love, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Or your pets, right? Mm-hmm. I do that with my cat and my dog.
I love it.
They can feel my love because they're very clairsentient, right?
Mm-hmm. New government leaders, Christy says. You can try.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why not? Do whatever it takes, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. So, wow, that was a lot. I'm still shifting and changing because I for myself, I experienced quite a bit of shift as well today while you were doing these processes. So I know for our listeners, you know, and our audience who's watching, they're also going to be experiencing some stuff. So the best thing would be to drink some water, ground a little bit more, pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. I remember one of them, she was crying throughout the whole call. So just let it go, right? Just let it go.
Right. Yeah. Let the tears flow. Take a nap. Soak in an Epsom salt bath. The other thing that's a good one, that's even kind of stronger, if you have apple cider vinegar, but you don't want to mix it, like a full cup of apple cider vinegar in plain water bath. So you don't want to put Epsom salts in there or essential oils in there. Just pure 1 cup of apple cider vinegar in a hot tub, and try and soak in that for like a half an hour.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and also Epsom salts, a little lavender, that always makes a nice bath, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Take
Just
a nap.
let it go. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And so if you'd like to join Lisa in the 6-week program to learn how to read your own records, access your own records, go into your own records, you can join at, you can find out more details at alara.at/show/Lisa. And the new class starts next Wednesday. So this is a great tool to empower yourself, especially as, you know, we're moving forward with our lives this year to really step up and shine, right? And so why not empower ourselves with the tools to do that, you know?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's huge. Yeah. It's a perfect thing. Perfect next step to raise your vibration. You know, really open to clear divine guidance. It's so much more than an intuitive hit, right? It's really can be, you ask questions and get answers. It's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. And this was so wonderful to reconnect with you again, Lisa. It's been like too long.
It has been too long. Yes. And it's been so much fun, quite a pleasure and joy. So thank you, Alara. I really love being here.
No, thank you. And thank you everyone for your comments and questions. You know, and you know, because of your questions, we got these wonderful clearings today and healing. So thank you. And thank you to the, you know, your Akashic team that, you know, brought in these processes and tools and healing energies for all of us, you know. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
All right, everyone. So the replay will be up a little later, shortly. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye for now.